Some people during the offseason said the SEC, the Big 10, they're just bullies. They're bullying the ACC and the Big 12. They're all on an even playing field. All of these conferences deserve to have the same amount of bids. I personally don't care about the bids. I think we should do at-large teams and have a couple of conference automatic qualifiers evened out on the field. But when we look at the weekend, I mean, we've got top-ranked matchups in all the SEC and Big 10. So it seems like it's not unwarranted for the SEC and Big 10 having this argument that they're the top dogs in town. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College Football Under Review, show made by a football fan for football fans everywhere. Today, we have our Week 7 preview episode. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It really helps us know that you enjoy the content, helps us out, and shows that you want to be a part of the Under Review community. Now, let's take college football under review. But before that, I talked to 30A Hot Tubs on Monday, and they're already booked this whole month. I mean, business is booming, so you got to get in there. Because 30A Hot Tubs is a family-owned and American-built business supplying Viking tubs that feature high-quality material and superior components, ensuring that every aspect of the hot tub is designed to last for years to come. When it comes to relaxation, recovery, and overall well-being, few things compare to the soothing experience of a high-quality hot tub. And for Rob Abel, it's all about helping people improve their health and quality of life. Whether you're an athlete looking for muscle recovery or someone who simply wants to unwind after a long day, soaking in a hot tub can provide numerous benefits. The ideal combination of warm water and hydrotherapy jets can ease tension, lower cortisol levels, and to help combat anxiety. A hot tub even promotes better blood flow, which leads to better muscle recovery, reduced soreness, and improved flexibility, combined with overall cardiovascular health improvements. Even a nice nighttime soak can improve quality sleep by relaxing the body and mind before bed. So if you're interested in experiencing the therapeutic benefits of a Viking spa, reach out to Rob Abel today. If you mention this ad to Rob, your journey to relaxation and wellness will start with a $200 discount off one spa and $600 for an order of 30 at 30A Hot Tubs. Whether you're looking for relief from sore muscles, a way to enhance your fitness routine, or simply a place to relax with family and friends, Rob is here to help you find the perfect hot tub to fit your needs. So, our top games coming into this week. 11 a.m., they are hitting us. I mean, college football is hitting us with a great game. Number 1, Ohio State at number 17, Illinois. So, I mean, Ohio State this season really has continued week by week to elevate their game. The Texas win is not maturing very well, but I don't think Texas is just maturing overall. But Ohio State has. That was a tough battle. That was obviously, first game of the season, starting quarterback. It's going to be difficult for him. But he has slowly gotten better, more comfortable as the starting position this season. I'm talking about quarterback Julian Sayin. He has continued to elevate, and the defense is right there helping him by suffocating opponents when it gets into the second half and fourth quarter, allowing the offense to not really do anything spectacular, but still downright dominate. And Illinois got downright dominated by Indiana a couple of weeks ago. So could we see the same thing? I think we might. I think this game could get very out of hand for Illinois because the Ohio State O-line does such a great job at protecting Julian Sayin, and Illinois has had some trouble when they're facing top 10 defensive lines. We saw that in Indiana. Indiana put a clinic on them, 7 sacks, I believe around 11 tackles for loss. And getting away from the Ohio State defense, and we're looking at both of these these teams are actually kind of around the same offensively when it comes to statistics, which you may not believe just looking at the number 1 team and the number 7 team 17 team. But Ohio State's offense, average rush and yards per game, is just a little bit above Illinois', even though these teams aren't showing the craziest off stats for offense. Ohio State's third down conversion rate is 13th, though, in the country. That's 13th best in the country. Illinois was once up there, but they have since fallen off, and it has all come back to that Indiana game. The defense for Ohio State is, I feel like, just going to be too much for Altmaier and the Illinois offense. And like I said, when we saw Indiana them try and beat Indiana, they didn't do well against strong quarterback pressure. So I'm very interested to see if they actually have learned and adapted from it, because their offense did when they played USC, and their defense almost allowed a loss to USC. But Ohio State leads the nation in limiting points per game at around 5, and has only allowed 2 touchdowns all season. The good news for Illinois' offense, though, is that they get the return of center Josh Kreutz and running back Aiden Lawlerty. I have Ohio State in this game. They are number one in the AP poll. I was about to say something mistakenly. Miami is my number 1 team, just because I think the offense is so much better. But Ohio State has, expectation-wise in this season, just gone leaps and bounds beyond their preseason expectations. And because of that, they feel so much better than they, I guess, are, but which is crazy to say because they are a great team. But I think Ohio State has separated itself so much because so few people thought that they would be this dominant. And I think that they're just going to continue this trek. We said at the beginning of the season, Illinois 10-2. They can lose this game, but they are going to need to have some good wins down the road. But I don't think Illinois' offense is going to fare well against the Ohio State defense. So number 1, Ohio State, in my opinion, takes it out. And another just dog of a game, number 8, 11 a.m., number 8, Alabama, and number 14, Missouri. Missouri has yet to leave their home. 6 straight home games. But this is undoubtedly going to be Missouri's first big test in the season. Yeah, Kansas was a great opponent in a renewed rivalry game, but the Tigers last season, they had 3 losses, and they all came from SEC opponents. Alabama last year, they shut them out. I was at that game. It was a fun time. But we're not in Tuscaloosa this year. We're in Missouri, and Missouri currently has a 15-game home win streak, and Alabama has shown that they've got a pretty good record at breaking those already. The Missouri offense is, in my opinion, a lot more explosive than Alabama, and this team has the ability to throw and run it physically against this Alabama defense. I think Amon Hardy is really going to dominate and possibly have a field day. So if Alabama can limit Amon Hardy, the Missouri running back, from getting explosive plays, just having a game over 125 yards, which is very difficult, they could be on top of this. But currently, Missouri's run offense almost doubles Alabama's rush average per game. And Ahmad Hardy currently leads the nation in rush yards at 730 yards. And I think one aspect of the game everyone should be excited for is the quality of quarterback play that I think we will see on display from 1, Bo Prabula, and 2, Ty Simpson. Both of these quarterbacks are really already showing that they are veterans, even though this is their first kind of full season as the starter. They are both throwing well. They are able to come back when they're needed to. They are able to kind of set a tempo for the offense, not completely game management, but set the tempo, set the pace, and allow the offense to have a strong leader behind center that's going to keep everything regulated. For Missouri and Eli Drinkowitz, Eli Drinkowitz has been building up this team for the last couple of seasons. He's done great things. He's been overshadowed by Ole Miss. I'm going to say it here. He's had 2 10-win seasons in a row. He just cannot beat or topple these kind of high-tier SEC teams that go on to the playoffs or have a chance at getting in the playoffs. And I feel like it's all starting to culminate. Like, this could be the season that he pushes through 1 or 2 of these games, possibly gets a backdoor spot into the playoff. But this is like one of those games that he needs to win if he wants that to happen. And I think if it doesn't happen, we don't start to see anyone get unruly or upset. But I think it's kind of like, is Eli ever going to do it? And we know what happens to coaches that get a reputation of they can never win the big one. Penn State, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Penn State. But Alabama, they're almost like Ohio State. They started off rough, and they have only exponentially really increased in talent, play, and discipline, because the last 2 games, they have finally not committed more penalties than the opposing team, which was huge for Georgia, because we have Alabama last season lost all 3 games on the road. So the Georgia game showed that Alabama can play in a tough road environment. So I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. Plus, they've still got a whole side that is under construction in Missouri's stadium. But Alabama, they've just got to run it. They just cannot have turnovers. And I'm picking Alabama in this one. Yeah, I know I'm a little bit of a homebody on this, but I just think Alabama is really starting to hit their stride, and Alabama is starting to find themselves, settle down, limit penalties, start getting the rush more involved as Jam Miller is getting healthier and healthier each week, and they're able to kind of utilize the offense as much as they can. I think this Missouri team, if Ahmad Hardy is shut down, it all comes to Bo Pribula, and I think Alabama's pass defense is going to be able to sniff out some of those plays as long as they do not get some pass interference calls. But I'm going with Alabama. I think this will be a big win for them, and I think this will continue the season trend of Alabama improving. I think Missouri is actually going to give a tough game. I think it will come down to the 4th quarter. Missouri is a little nervous, but I don't think that their defense is going to be able to stop Ty Simpson. And then 2:30 p.m., our game of the week. Number 7, Indiana at number 3, Oregon. A pair of unbeaten Big 10 teams will clash for Under Review's game of the week. Both of these offenses, they've chef's kiss. They've been some of the best in the nation with just gaudy statistics. And I'll tell you some of them. Both teams are great in the red zone. Oregon scoring on 100% of theirs, and Indiana 85%. Both offenses are in the top 10 scoring per game and yards per game. But when we look at the offense for each team, with Indiana, they are coming into it. What do they need to establish? The run. I think the Indiana run needs to overshadow Oregon because these teams have so many statistics that look similar, and Oregon is much weaker against the run when we're looking at the numbers. They did great against Penn State, but they had time to get ready for that game. The defense for both of these teams are good, but I feel as if the Oregon squad is just so much more experienced and gained lots of momentum after the way they performed in the Penn State game, stopping those runs. And when we're looking at the Oregon offense, they continue to do the same thing that they've always been doing under Dan Lanning, having a strong quarterback up there in the Heisman conversation every year. But guess who else has a Heisman contender? Indiana and Mendoza. These guys, Dante Moore and Mendoza, it's just going to be a great weekend. It's going to be another great weekend. This is what you want in a top 10 matchup in the middle of the season. Both of these teams unbeaten in conference play, unbeaten on the board overall. Their quarterbacks are great. Their defense has shown up when they need to. And the coaches are great. I know that the coaches were, I guess, last year at least, Cignetti wasn't the best coach and losing in the playoffs. And then Dan Lanning just choking the undefeated season and losing to Ohio State in the playoffs. But I think that when we're looking at the coaches, the more interesting aspect that I'm looking at in this game that I don't think is going to be talked about as much, but I'm going to talk about it because I've got the mic in front of me. And that's about how Curt Cignetti play calls this game. Because when we saw the Illinois game, it was like 4th and 1. He was going to punt, and we were like, yep, same old Cignetti. And then he had a little bit of time, and he changed his mind. And once that happened, it seemed like he just had confidence in this team, and the team kept rolling. And so I'm really interested to see when we're at another big matchup. This one's against number 3 in the nation. Definitely a team that's going to make the playoffs. I'm very interested to see what he does and comes up with on crucial 3rd downs, 4th downs, and moments in this game because he showed a lot of grit and balls against Illinois. And talking more about Indiana, because I feel like Oregon is so much more of a concrete team. We kind of know after Penn State and after kind of these lower Power 4 teams that they just dominated, we have more of a concrete foundation of how good this team can be and what their ceiling looks like. Because their ceiling right now looks like a national championship game or semi-final match. But Indiana, I still feel like their season is more up in the air. Indiana has shown domination against the great team in Illinois, which is still maturing into a good win. But how will they face just a different caliber team? And I think Oregon is going to win this game. I think Indiana is going to do very well. I know that it's the stereotypical, like, oh yeah, he's going with the higher ranked, he's going with the favorite. It's not like he's really going out there. Well, last year, Ohio State came to Oregon. Ohio State won the national championship. Oregon beat them at home. It's just a rowdy environment. And I think this season, with so many teams and programs being even, home field advantage nowadays is bigger than ever. So give me Oregon in this game against Indiana. They're going to get their one loss, but I still think Indiana is going to have a great season outlook for the playoffs. And this is going to be a game that they kind of need to have early on in the season so that they can adjust what they need to by the time the playoff rolls around. Okay, 6:30 p.m. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Number 10, Georgia at Auburn. Now, you may say that this game is not going to be exciting. Why, Nick, why did you put this as your top 4 microscope games of the week? I mean, it's number 10, Georgia against Auburn. It's going to be a blowout. Well, I think that this game's going to be exciting. I think that the Auburn team is good. I think a lot of people are saying they're a shell of their preseason expectations, and Georgia is a top 10 team hungry to quell the doubters and are out for vengeance after they destroyed Kentucky and they lost to Alabama. But there's something different about this game every year when it's played in a specific place. But this game, one, is an SEC rivalry and the Deep South's oldest rivalry. And 2, the biggest factor any time you play Auburn in any game has 3 words: Jordan Hare Stadium. The craziest games, instances, and situations have appeared, happened, and become a legend in college football lore in this stadium too many times to count for it not to be a factor. In the last decade, though, Georgia has been the winner in this matchup and typically are down in half a lot in this game and come back to win in the second half, and seems to play like that under Mike Bobo since he's been there. And whenever they play a decent team. But this Auburn team, they don't have a decent team. They have a great defense, and they have a great wide receiver room that is still not being utilized. And this could be the game that Hugh Freeze just says, screw it. We're throwing it deep. We are forgetting the quarterback scrambles. We're throwing it. We're utilizing our wide receiver room because that's what he needs to do to win. These guys are so good, and you're not allowing them off the leash. But I think another thing that adds a little bit of juju to this game is that Cam Newton's jersey is getting retired for this game. So I think this is going to be kind of crazy. He's going to be on the sidelines. It's going to be electric night. But outside of Auburn and going back to Georgia, one aspect of Mike Bobo's offense that really has yet to truly break out, and this is going to be a shock for some people, but I don't think so, it's Gunnar Stockton's passing. He's been limited to under 200 pass yards the last 2 games, and that's just not a statistic you want to see going against an Auburn defense that is so good. This Auburn team has 2 losses on the season, but who are they against? 2 top 10 teams, and both were very close games. One could have gone Auburn's way because of the officiating. The other one, Hugh Freeze just should have quit running the quarterback draw, and if they converted on a couple of third downs, who knows? But I think that Texas A&M and their defense is better than Georgia's, and I think that Texas A&M kind of showed Auburn what they need to change. And for my thoughts on this game and who I'm going to pick, I think Auburn's going to win. I'm choosing it. I'm an Alabama fan, but Auburn's going to win against Georgia at Jordan Hare. I think we're going to see some crazy stuff go down. I think that Mike Bobo is finally going to get on the hot seat, and things are going to get a little wild in Jordan Hare. I think it's going to be a great game, fun game. If it's not, then I will be sad. I will be depressed because I think every year I tune into this game because it never disappoints. There's always going to be at least a good half of football the way Georgia's played it the last couple of years, but I still think Auburn pulls it through. And now the other notable games. 2:30 p.m. we got the Red River rivalry. Number 6 Oklahoma versus Texas in the Cotton Bowl, the State Fair. This is another great game that kind of has been flip-flopped, and it hasn't really been as electric as the last couple of years prior really have been. Texas, at the beginning of the season, they were the favorite, the dominant machine to win the SEC in the national championship with a Heisman quarterback. Yet we find Oklahoma in this position more than Texas, which is weird. Texas exited the top 25 team as the preseason number 1 team faster than any one program since Ole Miss in 1964. Now, even though Texas may not have won more games than Oklahoma this season, Texas still leads this rivalry series 64-51 in 5 ties. Mateer for Oklahoma, which is not good, has yet to be fully back in practice so far. So right now, their backup quarterback, Michael Hawkins Jr., is going to be preparing for the start. And Hawkins last season played in this game. after replacing Jackson Arnold, the now Auburn quarterback. And it wasn't a great game for him. It went about 19 for 30 pass attempts, 148 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. The Oklahoma defense, this game is going to need to step up in a huge way. They are going to need to get some defensive points, a pick six, a scoop and score, to really make this game even, in my opinion. Oklahoma has the number 1 total defense in the nation, but Texas is right up there at 13. So it's not like Hawkins is going to have an easy team to beat. And I'm willing to bet that this Texas team is going to come in a little mad that they lost to Florida. And Arch is probably going to have some problems against this Oklahoma team. But I don't think Oklahoma's offense is going to be able to get anything done. Texas continues to act like the big brother in this rivalry game, and I think that's going to just continue on in this series. So give me Texas beating Oklahoma, number 6 Oklahoma, in the Red River rivalry. 6 p.m., Florida at number 5 Texas A&M. I think the only time like Billy Napier actually looks like a Saban coaching tree coach is when his job is on the line in Florida. This guy, I mean, he is able to win the best games, the games he needs to get in this equilibrium of mediocrity. The mention of a buyout, or we have the funds for a buyout, leads to a Florida just outright win, which is crazy to say. But this is a different team than just Florida. And they're playing Texas A&M, who's a good team. And I think Texas A&M, after watching Texas fall to Florida, Mike Elko had to come out and, say like, whoa, guys. I think he's settling the fans down. This is a quote from Mike Elko. So he goes, by far and away, the most talented team we've played this year. Talking about Florida, Elko said. They've got an excellent group of players. They've played a competitive schedule. They've played in top 10 environments already. So they're going to be well-versed in what this is like. Is he already preparing his fan base mentally to lose? I don't think so. I think the big statistic in this game is going to be how many times DJ Lagway turns it over, because right now he's got 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, kind of even kilter. And is Marcel Reed going to continue performing the way he has? He seems like he had a little miscues in the Auburn game, but I still think this Texas A&M team is just, I think Oklahoma is not top 5. I think this Texas A&M team is top 5. I think their ranking is worth it. I think they are legitimate this season. So I've got Texas A&M beating Florida. Sorry for that miscommunication. And then 6:30 p.m., we've got number 15 Michigan at USC. And Michigan, they've continued to grow and get better as the season has progressed. And I think it's really fun to see Ohio State and Michigan kind of have the same kind of deal going on. They both, in recent years, coming off of a national championship team, they both are kind of having a not reset year, but kind of reload year, because they've got great players all around. But I think we're slowly seeing this build up of their matchup in their rivalry game for Michigan, Ohio State at the end of the season to be something really awesome. I think it's going to be awesome the next 3 years. But back to this game and to USC. This USC game really could be a big test for Michigan, because we saw USC against Illinois, and we saw that this team can come back in rapid succession and fashion and effectively move down the field late in the game. Michigan really cannot allow Lincoln Riley to get a beginning lead because I think that Bryce Young is still at the level of keeping a lead and not gaining an edge or big lead. And I think a lot of that has to do with Sharon Moore being there, kind of limiting Bryce Underwood. I understand that he's a true freshman, but I feel like Bryce is good enough now and is needed to get off the leash and allow him to explode. But I think that Sharon Moore isn't going to do that because he might be a little scared of his job security and might lose it. So I don't think he'll really take that chance. And they might have to in this game because Lincoln Riley has an electric team that can put it on you. And last season only lost to Penn State in the Big 10 last season at home. I think that a USC explosion on offense will surprise a lot of people. But I think Michigan is going to do too well because Lincoln Riley at USC has not had a good track record against teams that are ranked 15 or higher. And then 6:30 p.m., Kansas at Texas Tech. This is Texas Tech now. Number 9, Texas Tech too. And speaking of Texas Tech, they've been dominating teams all season. But could the Kansas Jayhawks give them a challenge? Texas Tech has the 9th best defense in total yards allowed. Tech has one of the best point differentials in the nation at 20 per game and has a top 5 defense in allowing opponents points. So it's going to be hard for Kansas. But Jalen Daniels, he's their quarterback for the Jayhawks. He's the 13th best quarterback in pass yards in the country. And they've got one of the leading wide receivers in the Big 12 with Emmanuel Henderson for yards. And the Texas Tech head coach is doing a lot of what Mike Elko did. He said, if you look at them, they should be 6-0. Easily could be 6-0, the Texas Tech head coach said. I think we're starting to see a trend of these coaches trying to prop up one another and these other conference teams so they can use the media to their advantage when they win and trick them into being like, oh yeah, they were a great team. He said so. He said so, and he's got a great team. But Texas Tech, I mean, they look so good. I think Texas Tech is better than number 9. I think Texas Tech is going to just dominate this Kansas team. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think that Jalen Daniels is going to understand what kind of defense he's looking at in the Big 12 because this is a different defense found within the Big 12 than all the other programs. And I think this defense is just going to light up Jalen Daniels, force him to throw away too many passes, stall too many drives, and force them on 3rd and longs. And then our last game, 9:15 p.m. Yeah, I know, 9:15. I'm going to watch it. I'm still going to watch it. It's number 21, Arizona State at Utah. A classic late game. If only it was under the Pac-12. If only. But this game is, I think, huge for ASU to continue their perfect Big 12 conference record. And it's also big for Utah getting back into the Big 12 title roundtable discussion. Because since Utah has been in the Big 12, they have yet to win a Big 12 conference game at home since they joined last season. And people say that it's one of the top 25 toughest stadiums in the country. Is it though? Is it? But I think this game will tell us if Utah actually is good. And if so, then Texas Tech just looks that much better. I think for ASU, we know that they're already good. We know that they're going to fight. But the ASU defense has the same look and feel as the Texas Tech team the Utes have played. kind of around the same statistics in rush yards and sacks per game for this Arizona State defense. And the Arizona State team has been so much better in the second half of games than the first and struggle to get a start. And I think Utah is in that same boat, especially with the Texas Tech game and what we saw. Give me Arizona State. I think that they're coming along, and Kenny Dillingham, I think those players are going to play harder for him. They have a lot more respect for him. And I just think that ever since that TCU win, they've been able to build more and more momentum since the beginning of the season when they lost to Mississippi State. But that wraps up our notable games. So let's talk about some news real quick before we get to the AP poll. I'm going to preface this news with why. Why did Texas Tech decide to change their athletic logo and their kind of athletic logos in general? Some of these, yes, they look good. They were needed. I think it looks good. But what have you done to my boy? I mean, Texas Tech, the bevel. The bevel was beautiful. It was beautiful. It complemented. It was classic. It was stylish. It gave some bravado. It said, we're Texas Tech. Now what does it say? It looks like a fast food restaurant logo, man. Come on, Texas Tech. It does not look good. It doesn't have any pop to it. All you did was just remove the bevel. Bring back the bevel. Bring back the bevel. I mean, it's just bad. I don't like it at all. Why would you change it in the middle of the season? I don't understand this. I will personally not stand for this logo. I'm not changing it the rest of the season. I'm not changing it. I'm keeping the bevel the rest of the season. I'm going on a boycott on this new Texas Tech athletic logo because it is garbage. It's garbage. It's off my chest. It's off my chest. But I mean, Texas Tech, why? Just why? Like, I just don't understand. But the AP poll, the absolutely preposterous poll, and this week's opinions on that poll are here from me. So I think the 1 through 3, 1, Ohio State, I'm okay with them at 1. Miami, okay with them at 2. Number 3, I'm okay with them at Oregon. I still think, though, that Ole Miss is too high, and I think you should have them kind of around the 7 range because I think that the AP, the absolutely preposterous media, is kind of just overstating the Ole Miss win over LSU because I don't think LSU is that great after what I've seen from them this season. I think Ole Miss should kind of swap with Texas Tech, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, and that's what I'm going to do. Kind of outside that, 6 through 10, yeah, I understand it. 11 through 15, kind of understand. No one's done anything crazy to lose or jump out of that spot. But when we look at number 16, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, I'm tired of acting like this Notre Dame team deserves to be in the spot. They're good. I don't think they deserve this. Notre Dame shouldn't be this high or on the board at all. They lost to 2 top 5 teams, but FSU with 2 losses beat a top 10 team and has lost to 2 top 25, one of them being the number 2 team in the nation in your poll. So it makes no sense for FSU to be ranked lower than Notre Dame. And we can also apply this logic to Auburn as well, because Auburn has lost to number 5 Texas A&M and number 6 Oklahoma in a much closer game. Yeah, I know the Texas A&M game for Notre Dame was lost on a PAT, but that's your fault, Notre Dame. You should have won that game or at least gone into overtime. So if we're putting Notre Dame up here at 16 with 2 losses to teams in the top 5 and beating up on these lesser Power 4 teams and stack a schedule, then why is Florida State not one ahead of them, and why is Auburn not in the AP poll? It's just something that's really been irking me this week. And I'm all for the Mormons and everything. But BYU, they are in the top 25. They just randomly came up in here, and they're at 18 right now. And I was like, oh, okay, they must have been doing really well. I mean, let me check out their season. Well, BYU has only beaten one team right now with a winning record, and that one team is East Carolina. Don't know why they're even in this discussion. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And they haven't even dominated all those games. I mean, the one game that they truly dominated was against 0-6 Sacramento State. BYU, what are you getting? What are you doing? Get out of the AP poll. Get out of the AP poll. It just doesn't make sense. And then Iowa State at 22. This is just crazy work after Cincinnati beat them, and Cincinnati just isn't ahead of them, even though they have literally the same record. They have the same record. I don't know why Cincinnati isn't ranked above Iowa State. It just shows you how absolutely preposterous this poll really is. But that's all I got to say about the AP poll. And then who's in our Heisman hype seat as we finish out this episode? It's none other than Ty Simpson. The way that he handled himself in the Vanderbilt game and the Georgia game, he's got a lot of momentum coming forward into this season. His odds went up. A lot of other media polls have him as tied for first with him and Dante Moore. But before that, he was kind of like in third or fourth in a lot of polls. And so he's jumped up a lot, and the media is falling in love with him. And that's why I have him in the hype seat, because he is getting the narrative this week of getting the Heisman. Okay, that wraps up our Week 7 preview episode. Sunday, we will have our Week 7 recap, and we will be giving a little bit of a schedule update for next week's show. I'm Nick Watts. Thank all of you for tuning into this episode of College Football Under Review, and we'll see you next time when we take more college football under review.